Classification of mutual fund schemes based on mandate. So there are 5 categories in which SEBI has defined: equity scheme, debt scheme, hybrid scheme, solution oriented schemes, and other schemes. We will look at these schemes in detail. Equity schemes. Before looking at equity scheme, we have to understand what is large cap, what is mid cap, and what is small cap. Previous to recategorization, there was no definition of what is a large cap and what is small cap and what is a mid cap. Now SEBI has defined what a large cap security is. Large cap securities are those securities which are ranked first to 100 in terms of full market capitalization. Mid-cap companies are those which are ranked 101st to 250th, and small cap are 251st and below. So equity schemes are classified. First category is multi-cap fund. These multi-cap fund can invest in any cap. These are cap agnostic. They can invest in mid-cap, small cap, large cap. There is no predetermined allocation that they will invest X percentage in mid-cap, small cap, or large cap. The fund manager has the free hand to choose their bet. Large cap schemes. 80% of the total assets have to be invested in large cap companies. And what are large cap companies? Companies ranked first to 100 in terms of total market capitalization. Third one is large and mid cap fund. It invests 35% in large cap, 35% in mid cap, and remaining fund manager have the discretion whether to invest in large, mid, or small. Mid cap funds. 65% of the total assets fund manager has to invest in mid cap companies. Small cap, 65% of the total assets have to be invested in small cap companies. Dividend yield fund. These funds predominantly invest in dividend yielding companies. But the problem is there is no criteria for what are the dividend yielding companies. A company which is yielding 0.5% of dividend yield is also considered, and a company which is yielding 6% of dividend yield is also considered. Value fund, contra fund. So an AMC can either offer a value fund or a contra fund. A particular AMC cannot offer both of these funds. That is why I have numbered 7 in between them. So problem is there is no definition of value and growth, and there is no definition what is contra. So I as a fund manager can say yes, this is a contra call and nobody can challenge it. So they are basically multi-cap strategies. They can invest across market caps. Focused fund. Focused fund is also a kind of multi-cap fund. They have no restriction for investing in large, mid, or small cap, but there is a restriction for number of securities. They cannot invest in more than 30 companies. Their investment will be limited to 30 companies. Sectoral thematic funds. 80% of the total assets have to be invested in a particular sector or a particular theme. For example, pharma fund. In a pharma fund, 80% of the assets have to be invested in pharma or related businesses. ELSS fund. ELSS fund one can invest in ELSS fund for availing benefit under section 80C, but it is within the 1,50,000 limit which an individual gets. What I have observed is even HNIs have invested in ELSS, even corporates which have no 80C benefit available, they have also invested in ELSS fund. In my opinion, all this is mis-selling because there is a lock-in of 3 years. Distributor used to get upfronting of their commission. That is why these funds were sold. In my opinion, if you can invest more than 1,50,000 rupees apart from 80C, then you should choose a low-cost passive strategy. And if you cannot invest 1,50,000 rupees, then equity is not for you. debt schemes. So debt schemes are classified in 16 categories. Number one is overnight fund. It is one of the most relatively safer bet. But problem is it yields very low. So for retail investors, it is better to put their money in IDFC Capital First Bank account, which is giving 7% interest. In overnight fund, you will get returns close to repo rate. Overnight funds are those funds where fund manager invest in overnight securities having maturity of 1 day only. So it means in overnight fund, all the portfolio get changed every day. Whatever is invested today matures tomorrow and the corpus is invested again. Liquid funds. Liquid funds, 65, just give me a second. This is not the correct definition. Liquid funds are those funds where whatever is written on the screen is wrong. I will correct it. Liquid funds are those funds where maturity of the underlying holding should be less than 91 days. It is most popularly used by treasuries to park their money. Ultra short duration fund. It invests in debt and money market instruments such that maximum duration of portfolio is between 3 months and 6 months. So duration is relatively low in ultra short duration fund. But the problem is fund managers have devised strategies where they can invest in longer maturity securities as well, but by incorporating a put option, the calculated maximum duration falls less. This is what happened in Franklin India Ultra Short Duration Fund. Low duration fund. Investment in debt and money market instruments such that maximum duration of the portfolio is between 6 and 12 months. So whenever I say maximum duration, you can consider lower the maximum duration, the lower is interest rate sensitivity, because maximum duration is directly related with modified duration. In case yield falls, prices of bonds goes up, and in case yield rises, prices of bond goes down. So what we have observed in the last 2 years, RBI has cut the rate many times and yields have gone down. And that is why gilt funds and dynamic bond funds and long duration funds are showing good returns. This is only because of cut in interest rate by RBI. Money market fund, these are those funds where maturity of the instrument is less than 1 year. Short duration fund, these are those funds where maturity duration is between 1 and 3 years. What we have discussed in liquid fund, ultra short duration fund, low duration fund, money market fund and short duration fund is, there is no definition of credit profile. Fund manager has the total discretion where to invest, whether to invest in AAA rated or AA rated or go lower down. Medium duration fund, maximum duration of the portfolio is between 3 and 4 years. Medium to long duration fund, maximum duration of the portfolio is 4 and 7 years. Long duration fund, maximum duration of the portfolio is greater than 7 years. As the maximum duration of the portfolio keeps going up, if the yield falls, there will be more M2M, more profits. That is why you can see there are more gains in long duration fund because their maximum duration is higher. Dynamic bond funds. Dynamic bond funds, when SEBI came up with recategorization in October 2017, in my opinion, dynamic bond fund they created assuming a category where fund manager will take duration calls. That for example, yields have gone very low. Let's lower down the duration. Yields have gone very high. Let's increase the duration. That was the idea behind SEBI to came up with this category. But this category has been abused by AMC. For example, one of the Franklin scheme in dynamic bond category is also being shut down. It was totally credit calls. Corporate bond fund. Minimum investment in corporate bond, 80% of the total assets are invested in AA plus and above. That is why we are seeing that there is less outflow from corporate bond funds and AMCs are not facing trouble because most of the portfolio is invested in AAA rated portfolio, and these securities are easily marketable, easily sellable at fair value in the market. So fund managers, AMCs are not facing any issues in corporate bond fund. Credit risk fund. Minimum investment in corporate bonds. 65% of the total assets in AA and below. So here the credit quality has come down. 65% of the assets have been invested in AA and below. I will take a minute or two because this is one of the topic which is buzzing the town. When you select a credit risk fund, first of all, I never advise anybody to invest in credit risk fund. Reason being, it is for those investors who understand what the credit is, how credit behaves, and retail investors should not take credit risk calls. Credit risk funds, if you want to select, let's say you have decided that you want to invest in credit risk fund, then also you should be mindful of what is the remaining 35% of the asset. If that 35% of the assets are invested in government securities, AAA rated paper, at least the fund has some kind of liquidity in case of redemption pressure. What Franklin had very little portion invested in AAA rated securities or government securities. Most of their portfolios were in below AA rated securities. That is why they were not able to sell the securities and they have to borrow from the market. In fact, they took special permission from SEBI. SEBI only allows 20% of the net assets to be borrowed, but Franklin took special permission. For two of their schemes, they took permission for going up to 30%, and for one of their schemes, they took permission up to 40%. In my opinion, Franklin has not done the right thing. They should have closed that scheme much earlier to protect the interest of sleeping unit holders. Banking and PSU debt fund. Minimum investment in debt instruments of bank, public sector undertakings. So most of them, 80% of the investments are in PSUs, undertaking public financial institutions, which are relatively safer. Reason being because of implicit sovereign guarantee. So this category has seen a significant amount of inflow after just give me a second. This category has seen significant inflow after this recent credit crisis. Gilt funds. Minimum investment in government securities, 80% of the total assets. So always remember, even in gilt fund, 20% of the discretion is in the hand of fund manager. He can take credit call in 20% of the portfolio. So one has to be very cognizant of this fact, and one should scan through the portfolio. Although most of the gilt funds have not taken any credit calls. So somebody has asked a question, what is the optimum time period to stay invested in a mutual fund? There is no optimum time frame. There is no optimum time frame to invest in a mutual fund. Reason being, it all depends on the need of the advisor. If a person wants to invest for 4 days, he can invest in overnight fund. If a person wants to invest for 15 days, he can consider liquid funds. There is no generic rule. There is no science formula. Everything is personal and everything is customizable. So it all depends on the need of the investor. I would like to give I would like to give one warning right now. Power cut has happened. Although my Wi-Fi machine is on UPS, but I don't know till when we can last. Okay, so I will try to run through the presentation. In case the light comes back, we will have no problem. 15th category is gilt fund with constant duration. Minimum investment in GSEC 80% and Macaulay duration of portfolio is equal to 10 years. That 10 year is constantly maintained by fund manager. So this category is suitable for those investors who want to take extraordinary bet on interest rate. That interest rates are going to get down. Somebody has asked which is best liquid fund. Sir, there are no best any kind of fund. Every fund should be selected considering the time frame in hand, considering what the investor want to achieve, considering what is the purpose of the fund. Let's say, for example, there is a liquid fund which is relatively not best, but you want to invest in equity of that AMC and you invested in liquid fund just for registration of STP. So there is no right, wrong, or best or wrong liquid fund. Yes, Parag Parikh and Quantum Liquid Funds, their approach is quite conservative. You can consider those funds. 16th and last category in debt scheme is floater fund. Minimum investment in floating rate instrument 65% of total assets. These type of schemes are suitable for those investors who want to take a call that interest rates are going to rise. So what happens in a floater fund? 65% of the assets is in floating rate instrument. So at every reset, your yield will not get locked in, and at every reset, the fund will be able to invest at higher yield.